And with the stroke of the pen, President Trump has effectively removed the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the director of the National Intelligence from the committee, saying that they would be invited when issues pertaining to their responsibilities and expertise are discussed. Arizona Republican Senator John McCain praising the president's national security team, but then also expressing that he has some concerns about who would be at that meeting.
I think the national security team around President Trump is very impressive, and I think you couldn't ask for a better one, whether it be General Kelly, General Flynn is great, General Mattis, and the ones they are bringing on board on their team. I am worried about the National Security Council, who are the members of it and who are the permanent members. The appointment of Mr. Bannon is something which is a radical departure from any National Security Council in history. Remember Karl Rove, there was when he sat in on one, and Axelrod, when he was supposedly, look, that is, and the role of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has been diminished, I understand, with this reorganization. One person who is indispensable would be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, in my view. So it's of concern, this, quote, reorganization.
Well, there's certainly some concern here in Washington by both Republicans and Democrats by this new memo that was put out by the White House, which does reorganize this Principals Committee of the National Security Council, which is a pretty important committee. This is usually the committee that only sits in front of the president. So the National Security Commission will hash out some issues, but when the president is involved, it's this Principals Committee that takes part. And as you mentioned before, according to this memo, both the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the director of National Intelligence will only be a part of those meetings if what they're talking about is pertinent to their areas of expertise. But not everybody thinks that's a good idea. You heard there from John McCain, but President Obama's ambassador to the United Nations, Susan Rice, really went off on this idea. In a series of tweets over the past 24 hours, she laid into the Trump administration for this move. She said, quote, "This is stone cold crazy. After a week of crazy, who needs military advice or intel to make policy on ISIL, Syria, Afghanistan, or DPRK, which is, of course, North Korea?" She then went on to criticize another part of the memo that says that in the president's absence, that the vice president, Mike Pence, can sit in. Susan Rice said that Pence may chair the NSC meetings in lieu of POTUS. That never happened under Obama. The UN ambassador sidelined from cabinet and sub-cabinet level meetings. Now, this is different than what's been done in past administrations, but as you mentioned, Fred, Reince Priebus pushed back on the idea that there is anything wrong with this. He believes that this will be a more streamlined process when it comes to intelligence gathering and decision-making on behalf of the president. Listen to what he said this morning on Meet the Press.
They're included as attendees anytime that they want to be included, Chuck, if you read the order.
So it is not correct then, because in the order it said it was sort of as needed.
That's not what, if you read the order, they're invited as attendees to the Security Council at any time.
So, of course, that has some concern. But, of course, the big concern from people like John McCain is the fact that Steve Bannon will be on this committee at all times, the Principals Committee. And he is thought of as more as being a political advisor to the president, not necessarily a military or intelligence strategist. So that's why folks like John McCain are concerned about having someone like that in this role on the Principals Committee. But, of course, Fredrika, this is under the purview of the President of the United States, and this is the decision that he has made.